What are you going to do to enable yourself to become equal to your circumstance? Well, you can't go, okay, I'm equal, you know, and then it goes, no, you're not, no, you're not, no, you're not, no, you're not. And for every action, there's a reaction, right? That's why we go into asana. That's why we go into pranayama. That's why we go into mantra. We go into these things so that we can restructure all of the subtleties that have been arriving at each moment that influence our perception. Physically, emotionally, mentally, existentially. And then you have to just go, okay, well, I'm just going to do this every day. I'm going to do this practice on a daily basis. And I will allow, because I've heard that this actually works. I haven't found it to work yet, but I've heard that it works. And Guru Singh says it works, and he never says anything except the absolute truth. What else can I say but the truth, right? It works. But it works so indirectly. Because the moment you go directly, what's it going to do? It's going to push back. So it's like the master of Aikido. It's like, what do they say about not taking a sword in the forehead? Don't allow the forehead to be where the sword is. When the sword passes through the moment, have the forehead in a different location. I mean, that sounds really silly, but it's the fundamentals of martial arts. But we take on the sword because we want to prove that we are under duress and we need some sympathy. So it's like, boom, oh, and then we get a whole lot of friends around, oh yeah, I know, oh, yeah. But we don't do it with those things like obvious, you know, sword in the forehead. We do it with subtlety because we've learned to become so subtle. Let me tell you, in our lifestyle, we have what is called the 40-day, after the birth, there's a 40-day Sevadar that does everything for the mother, and all the mother has to do for 40 days is bond with the child. And so Guru Pakama, my wife, is in Seattle, and she's the 40-day Sevadar. And so they're up there having a great time, and I'm down here. I'm 69 years old, and I've been doing this all my life. And I've been doing Kundalini for 45 years. As a witness to myself, and as a confession to you, I have found some pockets of the need for sympathy. Which blew my theory of perfection. And so I said to my wife yesterday, I said, you know, I said, this is a 40-day sadhana that I'm really enjoying, but I'm totally enjoying the fact that it's like a week from its end. Because I'm having revelation after revelation after revelation of my slight imperfection.
Perfect doesn't mean flawless.
Exactly. Wow, I'll tell you, it has been such a growth cycle. I am indebted to that little child for stealing my wife. It was like yesterday morning, and I didn't dare tell anybody around here because I didn't want to have to live up to it. But yesterday morning, you know how that feeling you got, that kind of like sandpaper scratchy in your up here, and you got that little kind of tingle down here? And I said, okay, remember me telling you in class yesterday about if you really want to pull out the stops on getting sympathy, you get sick, right? And I'm not saying that's the way it always is, but I knew it was for me because that's not part of my game. And, you know, so I went, oh wow, this is going to be perfect, because if I come down, I'm on display. So it was like, yeah. And I could feel attitudes, emotions, thoughts, physicalities. I could feel this array of all of these elements that were going. Come over here. And I was having to dance through the middle of them, right? Get in touch with those in your life. Because when you dance, if you don't dance through the middle of them, you get stuck down in a cul-de-sac. And then you're down that cul-de-sac, and all of a sudden, you're sick, or you're overwhelmed, or you're sad, or you're depressed, or, whatever the outcome is, whether it's physical, emotional, or mental. But you have to notice those things along the way. And it can't be like, what's Guru Singh doing? Oh, he's just not getting sick, You can't be like this herky-jerky guy, like going through times. You have to have confidence, faith, so that you can walk through this knowing that you have been developing this attitude behind everything that's going to carry you through. And then you have to deal with some of the components that are in each circumstance. That allows you to master your world. And one of the things that helps us to get through that is the kinds of asanas that we'll be doing this morning, the kinds of mantras that we'll be doing this morning, the kinds of pranayams that we'll be doing this morning. Because what these do is these get our physical bodies and our emotional bodies and our mental bodies so tuned in that the attitude that rides them, that occupies them, which is the you, can use those. You've got a great car that can get you from point A to point B. You've got the body, the emotional body, the mental body that can get you through point A, point B, point C, point D. That's why you want to have a daily practice. That's why you want to become a master. And believe me, master is non-gender. It's not a master and a mistress. Is that ever a trap? Well, I'm a mistress of Kundalini. Really? It's non-gender. Whether you're a male or female, you're a master of Kundalini. Right? That's why you want to become a master of Kundalini. And believe me, that is your destiny. Is that clear? Did this make sense?
Yes.
Does this apply to you?
Yes.
Sure.
Can you see where you can use these subtle awarenesses and actually guide you and guide that which you are engaged with?
Yes.
Whether it's homeschooling your children or working in a law firm or teaching a class at an elementary school or teaching yoga or just conversing with human beings here and there, or running your agency, or whatever it is, you're always dealing with those personas. But you have to also understand that each dealing is part of your equation. That persona displaying that aspect is there for you in that moment. And you're equal to that. You're capable of working with that. So don't put it up here and make it look overwhelming, and don't put it down here and make it look insignificant. Put it right here, create that balance, and allow it to carry you forward to the next encounter, and then forward to the next, and forward to the next. Good idea? Excellent. So just come sitting, and we'll be doing yoga that doesn't take a whole lot of room because you're